Hello, little one. Frida Reba Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here, and our lights have just gone off for the day. We're cooling our jets. It is our Monday drop. Hello. And I just kind of thought that with everybody just getting over the holidays, traditionally, this was the time of year that I would look forward to. I always looked forward to spring and sort of growing up and would sort of dread winter, but there were always motorcycle races that I looked forward to. And as soon as we got past Christmas and New Year's growing up, there was a big motorcycle race that I would always look forward to in the Astrodome. So to me, that was always that was like my Christmas. So in other words, my mind is already, once I'm past New Year's, my mind switches to spring. And that's probably has some bearing on why I moved here, because even though a lot of places are just now really starting to get rolling on a proper winter, only about 3 or 4 more weeks traditionally, and this unseasonably warm winter we've had will be over. Having said that, the last week it was finally some 30-degree temperatures, so there was that. It finally dried out enough to where I could water my trees again. So we're back now into a rain pattern. It hadn't started yet, but it's been threatening to. So all in all, things are looking pretty good. It's sweater weather, and now I want to look back on, with the holidays over, it's really on a cloudy day. It would be a really good time to reflect on what we got this year. Gosh dog it, we did. We actually scored that literati ponderosa. Let me back up so that you can see this thing. That literati ponderosa came to me last summer with a little literati ponderosa boxed with it. I bought them both at the same time. I knew that I wouldn't have to pay shipping for the one because it was going to fit in the leftover spaces of the box of the other. And that's one thing that I say 2021 gave to me. And speaking of gave, the girls in the front office, this tree was AWOL for a week, and I was really worried about it. At one point, I walked to the front office just to make sure the tree wasn't there. And they could tell I looked stressed. And they're like, "What is it, Pat?" And I went, "Well, I'm missing a bonsai tree." And they said, "Well, is it this?" No. And they started laughing. And when they said, "Is it this?" they said, "Is it this?" And this was something that they had gotten for some office achievement award. And they said, "We don't know about your tree, and no, it's not here, but you can have this one if you like." And I looked at it, and it said Brussels on the open box. So thank you, girls in the office. That was awesome. And so, yeah, that is another thing that we got out of 2021. And that was actually, that's actually a score. This is a 1 or 2 year old. This is a 2-year-old Japanese black pine that I got from Jonas at Bonsai Tonight. I got this one as a starter when I also got this. This is a 17-year from seed Japanese black pine that also came. I got it at the same. I said I wanted something that was done, and I wanted something that was the starter. So this is what I bring along, and this is what I have for now. And that's the way that goes. I sort of recommend that in a way. You can also get in trouble that way because you don't always have the most expertise when things go wrong. But for the most part, I say it's a nice balance to have things that you're starting as well as things that are nice. maybe it's also a reflection of my age. I don't mind putting some wire on a clone and putting it in a cheap bonsai pot, and starting a bonsai. But I also love to look at some really nice finished works. This was Andrew Smith. The two Ponderosas were from Andrew Smith at Golden Arrow Bonsai in South Dakota. Very, very awesome. And I think I said it in another video, it's December. I was asking him something in the fall, and I sent him a text or an email to ask him something about what fertilizing or how long it had been since they had fed or something. And he was just talking to me about generally that everything at his place had been under like a couple of feet of snow. And we were still, like these guys were still hanging out in 70-degree temperatures at the time. Our lights are still, the breeze is pretty light. There's not a lot of wind blowing, which I'm pretty happy about. And the days are getting longer already. I think here it works out that we're either getting more or less a minute shorter or more or less a minute longer. And so for a couple of weeks now, we've been actually working towards longer and longer days. A couple of weeks ago, it was almost dark, or it was dark at this point. So I'm already seeing that as a sign that we're working our way to spring. I'm happy about the new tree acquisitions for 2021. I'm also happy about all the things that I learned in 21. I think it's important. Sometimes we look at something, I've done this a couple of times in my life. Sometimes you learn something and you're also in demand when you're learning it. So you kind of get the knowing that that you're learning something that's important or in demand, and you're the guy, right? But then other times you're learning something maybe at a time, and you feel like just such the noob, right? And because you're not out there in the wild learning your info, you learn a lot, but you never really lose that I'm a noob feeling. So it helps to sometimes stop for a minute and take stock of what you picked up on in the last, whatever. This year I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot about a few species of trees. I've learned a lot about this ponderosa. The way to do a ponderosa is so much different. It's a long leaf, single flush pine. So the way you do it is entirely different than the way you do a two flush short needle pine. So, but just learning about it is really neat. So I've really enjoyed my learning experience this year. And in reflection, I would say I've kind of come a pretty good way. One thing I haven't learned is I haven't learned not to buy too many trees or not to acquire too many trees. I saw something about rafts recently that caused me to give them a little bit of a thought in a way that I hadn't ever before. So I'm sort of formulating a little raft creation in my head for this coming year. I'm anxious to see how that's going to come out, and I'm looking forward to our continued growth, and I'm looking forward to more trees to fill the space that we've created for ourselves, and all those things and Frida too. I hope your year is starting off well. I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. Hit the like if you haven't already, and Our next drop will be on Wednesday. And thank you for watching.